Okay. Apologies for the delay. I don't do live recordings often. But first off, I'm only addressing true, authentic, alive, benevolent beings who are being forcibly tortured, targeted and tortured with technology and frequency weaponry. I do not consent to force magic of any kind in any form from any source in existence to be forced on any level, dimension, or timeline of my being, which is to include this recording. And all within it. Now, I think that there is a few questions worth pondering. With what is being forced in this place. And I think those questions have to do with what's outside of this place. Some call it this universe, some call it the multiverse. I've always referred to it as this universe. I think that there is such a thing as other universes, but I'm not here to get into that or to talk about that for right now. I'm talking about this universe and the questions that I think are important to ponder. Currently, there are dead entities, parasites, that have been here for a long time. They have been using technology to forcibly torture and rape true benevolent beings. They have been using the technology to try and interfere and obstruct universal laws and universal law correction here. They've been doing this here in this place for a long time. I do wonder how many civilizations they've murdered. But with regards to this universe, if this universe itself has any kind of intelligence or awareness or consciousness, I think serious questions need to be asked directly to the universe itself. The universe itself probably doesn't expect beings to question its intent or motives. And I really think it's imperative that we do so now. With what's being forced in this place for as long as it has, I think this universe's true intent and motives that they must be questioned. It's what its true intent is towards humanity, evolution, and universal laws. As there are beings here that are aware of the truth of things, that know that this is a farm and there's parasitic dead species here who's been using technology to try and torture and rape and obstruct correction. We must ask those questions of the universe itself. It doesn't seem to be too interested in evolution or trying to assist in the enforcement of universal laws, correction, and remedy. And then one must ask the question whether they want to stay in this universe or leave. I don't know about anyone else, but the universe itself has not ever sent out a memo or directly informed me of its lack of benevolent assistance. There are many times that I've asked for help of this universe, and up to this point, I would have to say that its help is sorely lacking. And what kind of a universe is it if it's not assisting in the enforcement of universal laws? If it's not benevolently assisting and backing benevolent beings here, especially those who are doing their best to assist humanity, as well as trying to assist in terminating the parasitic infection. The benevolent beings need to be asking why the universe itself hasn't directly intervened and terminated the frequency weaponry. The archons, the demiurge, the dead parasites here, especially those parasites that are using the technology to try and obstruct correction, and using the technology to try and rape benevolent beings. They're trying to rape astral bodies. They're trying to force technology. They're trying to obstruct correction. What kind of a universe is that? That is what needs to be asked. That doesn't seem like a benevolent universe to me. It doesn't even seem like a neutral universe to me. Yeah, I really didn't expect people to show up. All of a sudden I look down and I'm seeing... Just a moment. I would have to say over the last 5 years, it's definitely gotten to a point that is so horrific and so ridiculous. Like this is out of hand. They need to stop. It needs, this farm, this matrix has to be terminated. This farm has to stop. I'm going to continue forward. I'm not really used to interacting during a video, or I'm sorry, a recording. I didn't want to make this too long, so I'm just going to move forward. But I think that there are questions that must be asked directly to the universe, and I think that we need to do that as a group. If the universe is that corrupt and that complicit, number one, I didn't sign up for this shit show. I didn't. And especially if the universe isn't going to be assisting in correction here, and it's just up to us to try and get universal laws enforced here, well then we have every right to leave. We have every right to, the universe never informed me that it wasn't going to be enforcing universal laws. So I've decided that it's time to go. This shit show is just so fucking horrific. It makes one question existence itself. I'm interested in my evolution and the evolution of other benevolent beings who want to expand and grow and learn. The forced torture and rape, that's not what I signed up for. Not at all. So I'd like to leave. With the full totality of my being fully intact. I don't consent to being raped. The reptilians and that use the minions and the lackeys to do it, they're using clones. Somehow, some way, they think that using clones absolves them, and it doesn't. It doesn't absolve them of anything. Did the benevolent beings here, did you agree or sign up to forced cloning? Now, I don't know how many of you have experienced forced cloning torture, and where they either make or take a clone of you, make a clone of you, they forcibly connect it to you, and then they torture the clone, and they try to force you to experience that torture. They also try to use that clone to rape your astral body. Those are only a couple of things right off the top of what they've tried to, what they've been trying to force on me for years. No benevolent, even neutral universe is going to stand by and not intervene. No benevolent being outside of here is going to stand by and watch other benevolent beings being forcibly tortured and raped. This shit is so out of hand and out of control. This whole matrix needs to be terminated. Those parasites need to be terminated. The archons and demiurge, they should have never even, they're shit stains of aborted shit stains. Like, this shit needs to just be terminated. And if the universe is that corrupt and that complicit, it's time for it to go. And the benevolent beings here just need to get the fuck out of here. And we need to figure out a way to do it. Now, there is an artificial frequency fence that surrounds this place. They use that and the technology to forcibly try to obstruct correction here, as well as universal laws. That has to stop. There's a reason why universes have universal laws. Is to prevent this exact thing. So the fact that they're using technology to, now the other thing about that is, if the universe itself is that dumb that it can't tell the difference between technology and real, authentic, is that a universe you want to stay in? And if it's not going to terminate the very technology that's being used to obstruct the laws that govern this universe, again, is that a benevolent universe? Is that a universe you want to stay in? There has got to be, there must be correction. Is the real universe still holding beings to account? Because if it's not going to do anything about animated dead parasites interfering with correction and universal laws and using technology to try and forcibly torture and rape, well then benevolent beings shouldn't be held to account for anything. Meaning we are free and we are in the clear. Okay, well, like I briefly just looked down. If you're not being directly tortured by reptilians, meaning if you're not being forcibly mind raped 24/7, then I don't think I'm really too interested in what you have to say. Yeah, I've heard God is the devil. I would say, I mean, take a look around. Does it look like he's anywhere? Okay, here's another thing. The reptilians are trying to torture many in this place. So if they're trying to torture and rape an entire race, what happened to the benevolent beings outside of here? Meaning, where is God? Is God MIA? He seems MIA to me. Anytime I've asked for assistance, I haven't gotten anywhere with that, and I haven't received basically, I've been doing things myself. I've been saving myself. So maybe there once was a God, a benevolent God. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. What I'm saying is there's parasites torturing and raping, or trying to torture and rape an entire race. So what happened to the bigger or larger benevolent beings outside of this place if they're doing that to an entire race? And most likely, it sounds like they have similar operations in other places. So what does that mean? Like, it seems like this universe is circling the drain. It seems like it's time to go. Well, I appreciate the ones that are here to actually, that either are subscribed to my channel and are being forcibly targeted, and I don't appreciate that part, but that you're a real TI is what I'm getting at. If you're a real TI, I appreciate you being here. If you're here to pretend it's like some kind of, you know, do the standard, you need to take your pills and all of that. Like, you're not being forced to be here. You're not being forced to listen. You're not being forced to come on my channel. And clearly, since you're not interested in the actual things being said, then why are you here? That kind of behavior doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Oh, those are bots? Well, probably. I'm trying to address those benevolent beings who are being forcibly tortured. Like, are you being mind raped 24/7 by technology or sick, sadistic motherfuckers on the other end, right? Are you being forced to experience cloning torture? Are you being raped with technology? Those are the beings that I'm speaking to. For me, initially it began in 2003, and then they started in with the frequency weaponry, the directed energy weaponry, and all of that in 2012. But they initially tagged me in 2003. Anyways, moving on. Well, here's the thing, though. You know, I know that seems to be a history for Jesus. There was a point when I was calling on Jesus, but since then, the information and the research and all of that, I just have a different opinion about that. Now, I don't want to, you know, talk bad about anybody who believes in Jesus. That's your thing. It's like whatever gets you through, right? If you still believe in Jesus and you think he's going to save you, and you think that he's assisting you, and that's how you're getting through and surviving, then you got to do what you got to do, right? You obviously seem to have a relationship with Jesus. I don't want to knock that, right? If you have one, that's great. I tried. That didn't work out for me because he wasn't assisting me. Again, I don't see how any benevolent being outside of here could stand and watch dead parasites forcibly torture and rape a race. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where is Father? He seems to be MIA. And so if he's MIA and the parasites are torturing an entire race, like what the fuck? Like, I think there's things that happened in this universe, and I don't think anybody wants to acknowledge that something is very, very wrong, and that the universe doesn't seem to be benevolent. The universe doesn't seem to be neutral. It doesn't seem to be balanced. It doesn't seem to be doing fuck all about dead parasites that shouldn't even be in manifested creation. I mean, they've tortured me for 14 years. I'm done with being fucking tortured. They don't have justification, especially to use frequency weaponry and forced cloning torture. They are not justified, and they're dead. They're parasites. They're not alive. They're parasites. They have to try and parasitize. Why hasn't the universe intervened on the behalf of alive, vibrating beings? Like, that shit doesn't make any sense. They don't have justification to torture and rape. They're fucking dead. They're the ones who are in the wrong. They're the ones that did it wrong. They fucked up. They didn't fix their shit. They're dead. So there shouldn't be this universe has no right to try and hold true, benevolent, alive, vibrating beings here. That's not justified. That's not logical. If it's just going to allow dead parasites to run amok with frequency weaponry. Like, I've tried to explain this before. I don't know how many understand what I'm saying when I say it in that way. But we're benevolent, alive beings are trying to do it right. We're trying to adhere to universal laws. We're trying to do right by others. We're trying to help others. We're trying to be better versions of ourselves. We're trying to grow and learn and expand. There shouldn't be any reason why there's dead parasites running around trying to torture us. Like that, it just doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. There's no justification for it. There's no premise for it. So anyway, it just seems like this universe is fucked. It seems like it's circling the drain. I think it's time to go. We have every right to demand to leave. We have every right to demand that universal laws are enforced here. We have every right to demand that artificial frequency fence be terminated, especially because they're using it to try and obstruct correction here. They're trying to fuck with time. They've erected artificial realities in where they have whole artificial realities where they torture, rape, and murder. Like, is this a place you want to be in? If you're a true benevolent being that's trying to evolve. It's time to go. This shit's fucked. It's done, right? It's fucking corrupt and compromised. We need to get the fuck out of here. There must be a way. Like, where did true benevolent beings come from? Obviously, it seems like we came from a benevolent, at some point we started out from a benevolent source. I'm just saying, some people call it home. I have reached certain spiritual markers, okay, in where I know that I am able to do things, okay? When I started to do those things is when the reptilians forcibly got directly involved. What I need is the technology to be removed, and I'll just get myself out of here. The technology must be removed from my being. The forced clones must be removed from my being. I have refused consent for all forced technology and for all forced clones and clone connections. That's the battle that I've been fighting for 14 years. I'm sorry, just a moment. My apologies. So I think it's just that I was going to, I was trying to come on here and to just mention some of the questions that I thought might be important to ponder about the universe itself. I think there is a way out other than trying to leave in a bad way, right? I think there are universal laws. We need to demand that they're enforced here. The second those universal laws are enforced here, that's going to address the parasites and the technology and all the things that are wrong. That's why they use the frequency fence to try and obstruct. I think there comes a point where they turn off the frequency fence, but what they're trying to do, it's like a time thing. They're trying to pass off the lies and get humanity to believe the lies so that when they turn off the fence, and once they turn off that fence, universal laws become fully enforced here. Because they're not, what they're using to interfere or obstruct is the fence. So when the fence is turned off, this place gets fully exposed to universal laws. They want everybody, they're trying to get everybody to believe the lies. So when the fence is turned off, they're trying to get humanity to flip for the bill. In other words, once the fence is shut off. And I've tried to explain that in prior recordings as well. So let me just take a look here at yeah, I don't, it sounds like there's one here that needs to take his pills. So. Maybe it's a bot, I don't know, but yeah, it's either a bot or one of those demonic fucks. Just ignore him. I mean, it's like it's not even worth. You know, obviously, it's a bot or they're a demonic fuck. They're not here for, and you know why they're vomiting. So, anyways, moving on. Okay. Let me just I need a second to try and see if there's any other questions that might be worth pondering. And that way I can, you know, this wasn't supposed to be very long, so. I think it's just looking at it logically, taking a look around. There must be correction and remedy. Otherwise, there's other questions if it's otherwise. And those questions and implications are pretty fucking ugly. I think benevolent beings here need to really question have to ask questions about their own evolution, what they want in their existence. We have every right to demand to leave. We have every right to leave. When there are dead entities interfering with correction and remedy and universal laws, we have every right to leave. We have every right to demand to leave. We have every right to demand that universal laws are enforced here. We, like the living, the authentic, benevolent, organic, alive, vibrating beings have priority. We override parasites, dead entities that shouldn't even be in manifested creation to begin with. So we have every right to demand that universal laws are enforced here. We have every right to demand to leave. We have every right to demand correction and remedy. Dead parasites don't have any justification to, number one, even be here. And number two, to be running amok with frequency weaponry. Like, it's ridiculous. This universe is fucking whacked. So we just need to, benevolent beings need to release any fear and we need to be standing in our authority and demanding remedy and correction, including from the real universe itself. Maybe the real universe itself made some bad choices early on. Maybe it got bored with neutrality. I don't know what happened there. But the universe itself needs to be held to account at this point. So I just think that there are some questions there worth pondering, and that the benevolent beings here need to be working as a group, and we need to be loud. We need to be demanding to leave. We need, like I said, we need to be demanding correction and remedy. Okay, so I'll try and wrap this up. That luminous, I don't know if it's a bot or what. Oh my God. I think there was a time when this planet was like in a higher vibration, maybe even in a higher dimension, and it, you know, it was better. I think, well, I mean, there's a parasitic species here, right? How'd they get here? Where did the technology come from? And I know that there are those out there that have done research or have tried to answer those questions. But taking a look around, we still need a solution. What are we doing about it now, right? Dead parasites do not belong in manifested creation. It's a contradiction. And it's a massive contradiction. A contradiction so massive that the universe itself should be addressing the contradiction. And it has yet to do so. So I would say, I don't know, it seems like I said, it's circling the drain, and we just need to get the fuck out of here. That, oh my gosh, that bot, man, wow. Oh my gosh, the things that it says. Jeez. Well, that's just part of the problem, so. I think we have to demand that it come to an end. And we have to be, and I'm only addressing true, authentic, benevolent beings here. We need to be standing in our power and in our authority. And we need to be so loud that we override the fence. I mean, they're dead. They're fucking dead. It shouldn't be that much of a fucking challenge. They're fucking dead. So we need to, you know, there shouldn't be fear of them. They're creatures. They're trying to use technology in nasty ways. But we are benevolent, authentic, you know, beings. We are alive. Now they're trying to rape things from humanity that they have no business trying to rape because they're dead. They already fucked up. They didn't fix their shit. So if the universe itself hasn't yet terminated and removed those dead entities, then it better not be, you know, trying to do any harm to the benevolent alive beings here. Because that, again, would be another contradiction. And that behavior wouldn't make any sense from a supposed, you know, well, I don't know if some people think it's neutral. I don't know if anybody thinks it's benevolent at this point, but anyways, let's see. Okay, well, that bot or whatever that is says it can't find an exit. So it seems like it is a bot. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and close this live stream out. I hadn't really expected anybody to show up anyway, but I wasn't able to use my other means for doing recordings, so I'm not sure this will be listened to by anyone. But I did want to mention those questions that might be worth pondering. Till next time.